was suspended for 20 minutes a health break. The House was considering the motion of thanks at the President's address that the thanks of this Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the President's address. And this motion was moved by Ms. Chushi Kasanda Chisamba, Member of Parliament.
Honorable Members of Parliament, Madam Speaker,
good afternoon. Thank you so much for still being with us on Parliamentary television. Bells are ringing. It seems we don't have a quorum in the House. It is a requirement that 1/3 of members of Parliament must be present in the House for any business to transact. And so once the quorum has been formed, we expect our business of the House to resume. And at the time, Madam Speaker suspended business for a 20 minutes health break at 16:40. The House was considering a motion of supply, the President's address, that the thanks of this Assembly, a motion of thanks, I beg your pardon, that the thanks of this Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the President's address. This is a motion of 16th September 2025 that was moved by Chisamba, Member of Parliament, Ms. Chushi Kasanda, and on the floor of the House was the Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts, Honorable Elvis Nkando. And so when the quorum is formed, we expect him to continue with his debate. And earlier on, we did have a motion. The Vice President did move a motion to suspend standing orders, that standing orders 24-1, 27-2, 87-1, 168-2 and 171-1 and 2 of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024 be suspended to enable the House to sit from 14-15 hours until business is concluded on Friday 26 September 2025, and also to omit the Vice President's question time from the order paper, and to enable provincial ministers deal with the estimates of their provinces both in the committees and on the floor of the House. And this motion has been adopted.
The Minister of Mines and Minerals Development rendered a ministerial statement of the number of artisanal mining licenses that have been issued to youths in Serenje District from January 2021 to July 2025, year by year, and related matters.
We also had some announcements. Madam Speaker did recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Blessed Shiloh Christian School in Lusaka District, and also pupils and teachers from Salena Trust School in Lusaka District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly.
Madam Speaker also informed the House that hearing the call has been granted permission to conduct a free one-day hearing check-up exercise. Hearing the call is a United States of America based group of private practice and volunteers who are passionate about service and committed to best practices in audiology.
Madam Speaker said the exercise will be held on Wednesday, 1st October 2025 from 09 to 13 hours in the main reception area, Parliament main buildings. She said that during the exercise, a limited number of hearing aids will be available free of charge for honorable members who may require them.
She said that the objective of this initiative is to raise awareness about the impact of hearing loss, assist honorable members maintain effective hearing capacity, and inspire advocacy on this important public health issue within communities. Madam Speaker encouraged honorable members to take advantage of this complementary health service.
And so it seems we have a quorum. We'll take you to the floor.
Order. When business was suspended, the House was considering the motion moved by the Honorable Member for Chisamba that the thanks of this Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the President's address. and the Acting Honorable Minister of Labour and Social Security was debating. May the Honorable Minister continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I was talking about labor and industrial relations, and in order to sustain, Madam Speaker, the existing industrial harmony, my ministry reaffirms its unwavering commitment to promoting constructive engagement among stakeholders in the labor and employment sector. Madam Speaker, sustaining existing industrial harmony brings in a lot of responsibility. For instance, Madam Speaker, today the civil servants are able to know the date that they're supposed to be paid. Unlike where people could be paid on the 40th day, 50th day, they didn't even know which day they will be paid. But this government has really given the civil servants something to smile about, that they are able to be paid on that particular day. Again, Madam Speaker, when we are talking about industrial harmony, there are councils in this country, Madam Speaker, in case some people have forgotten. Your members on your left, the Patriotic Front, they have forgotten that councils went 14, 15 months without being paid. So this is what we are talking about. Zambian people out there, listen very carefully. These are the people that were not paying you for 14 to 15 months. You go to any council today, Madam Speaker, there is no employee at the council who has not been paid, not even for 1 month. We cleared the Congolese, the debt, and now we are up to date. So I don't understand why the Patriotic Front could even stand on top of the mountain and talk about industrial harmony. So I think that has been done correctly by this government. Hence, we are saying that this is a good government that should be supported. Madam Speaker, this is indeed critical for the country to continue attracting investment in the economy, such as we have seen in mining, agriculture, energy, tourism, construction, and manufacturing, and other sectors. As a result of this investment, Madam Speaker, we have witnessed significant growth in job opportunities and employment, as highlighted by the Minister of Youth and Sport yesterday. As well as business opportunities for our people, increased job creation has indeed boosted the social security schemes as more members join the schemes. You employ people, you have more numbers, and the scheme now is something that we can talk about. For example, NAPSA investment, Madam Speaker, portfolio has grown from 56 billion in 2021 to now 101 billion. From 56 to 101 billion by June 2025. And this is as a result of a lot of employment opportunities that has been created, Madam Speaker, thereby creating value for the scheme members. This is against a backdrop of the scheme having successfully paid out 10 billion and also 2 billion in partial withdrawal for the first time, Madam Speaker, benefits and ZNPF benefits respectively. This growth allows NAPSA to deploy additional capital in sectors such as energy and infrastructure. Madam Speaker, in case again we have forgotten, we used to see people lining up at the Ministry of Justice, in case our colleagues have forgotten. People were sunbasking there, Madam Speaker. Some of them were sleeping there at the Ministry of Justice. Today they want to stand on top of the mountain and say that some people have not been paid. We have paid a lot of retirees from UNIP, MMD, and the PF themselves. So these are the last people that should talk about good governance, Madam Speaker, and industrial harmony. At least we are able to talk about 10 billion, 2 billion to NAPSA and also ZNPF. Furthermore, Madam Speaker, prudent management of social security schemes has unlocked the local investment potential of institutional investors working with the private sector. NAPSA and WFCB have been invested in projects such as Chingola Kasumbaresa Road, Lusaka and Dora Dual Carriageway, United Capital Fertilizer, Mamba Energy Limited, among others, resulting in creation of more jobs. The owners of these social security funds have not been forgotten, as their interests are being taken care of through the current wave of pension reforms. The reforms are aimed at enhancing the benefit levels through upwards adjustment of the income replacement rate and also minimum pension, as well as the introduction of supplementary saving schemes, thereby creating a multi-layered pension benefit structure. Madam Speaker, through this inclusive approach, we are confident that we can build a stronger and more resilient economy that benefits all Zambians. I urge all stakeholders to join us in this noble endeavor, as together we can create a brighter future for our nation. Good governance environment, Madam Speaker, I wholeheartedly agree that we have made significant strides in leveraging technology to enhance service delivery and governance. The online citizen support services portal has been instrumental, allowing citizens interact with government departments and also access essential services seemingly, and this approach has improved citizen experience and also enhanced service efficiency and effectiveness. I commend Mr. President's leadership in driving digital transformation. And my ministry,
Honorable Minister. You can wind up.
Indeed, Madam Speaker, thank you very much. My ministry is very committed to harnessing technology for service excellence and also national development. And allow me, Madam Speaker, to wind up now by thanking you, Madam Speaker, and thanking the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Ichirema, for his exemplary leadership and guidance. The initiatives highlighted in his address will undoubtedly enable government to achieve the theme of the speech, which is consolidating economic and social gains towards a prosperous, resilient, and equitable Zambia. Madam Speaker, I just say that even when the speech is very brilliant, people will not be able to appreciate. Madam Speaker, whosoever despises you will never see anything good out of you. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Commerce.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me, as I rise with a profound sense of pride and purpose, Madam Speaker, and dear colleagues, to add my voice to those congratulating His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, for his insightful and comprehensive address to this august House during the official opening of the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly. Madam Speaker, allow me also to congratulate His Excellency for bringing together their Royal Highnesses, chiefs from all corners of our country, and have an engagement that was positive on uniting the country to stand firmly as one Zambia, one nation, and one people. Madam Speaker, as the ministry responsible for commerce, trade, and industry, we welcome the President's emphasis on economic diversification, industrialization, and job creation. Madam Speaker, industrialization is a key cornerstone that is needed for developing the economy of a country. For a very long time, Madam Speaker, Zambians have always complained when we have seen foreign nationals, bigger economies coming in Zambia and opening wholesalers, opening shops, that the Zambians can do. The leadership of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema has given strict instructions to the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry. Any foreign investment that we bring, Madam Speaker, must be value addition. Value addition, Madam Speaker, that creates jobs, that creates businesses, that in return creates taxes that go into our treasury. Madam Speaker, allow me to itemize a few of these policies, how they have been implemented and what they are giving birth to today, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, for a very long time, Zambians have continued to buy cars from different parts of the world. Yet no single component to the cars that we use will contribute. In the last 3.5 years, Madam Speaker, we have attracted investment in value addition from our manganese that has always been exported in its raw form from different parts of the country. Today we are proud to say that we have invested in battery manufacturing plants, and we are manufacturing car batteries, which we are not only using for ourselves, but also exporting in the region. And this has been set up in Chiwombo. Madam Speaker, this industrialization agenda in the car manufacturing battery has created in excess of 400 to 500 decent jobs, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are talking about diversifying from mining into agriculture. We have said we will not only revive the mining sector, but we will also diversify into the agricultural sector. To diversify into agricultural sector, we need to produce a number of facilities, components, or even implements that are needed in the agricultural sector if we have to meaningfully diversify. For this cause, Madam Speaker, we have invested in reviving nitrogen chemicals of Zambia with an investment of $6 million, which will be commissioned by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, early next month. Madam Speaker, the revival of nitrogen chemicals of Zambia is contributing meaningfully to the food security in providing fertilizer to FISIP. This revival of nitrogen chemicals of Zambia, Madam Speaker, has created 400 to 500 decent direct jobs, Madam Speaker, and also contributing to a timely delivery of farming inputs to our people. As I stand and speak here, Madam Speaker, I am proud that seeds, fertilizers are being delivered to the people with increased jobs. Madam Speaker, and the people that are supplying, that are being contracted to this facility are Zambians, Madam Speaker, who in the past had no jobs. Madam Speaker, to increase the production of fertilizer, we have invested as a government in the manufacturing of fertilizer through a company called United Capital Fertilizer, to which, Madam Speaker, His Excellency has spoken about partnerships and joint ventures. Over 10,000 direct jobs have been created, Madam Speaker, with a production capacity, Madam Speaker, that is not only sufficient for Zambia, but also for export within the region, Madam Speaker. In the southern region, Zambia now has become the biggest producer and exporter of fertilizer, Madam Speaker. In the same industrial yard, Madam Speaker, for United Capital Fertilizer, we declared, Madam Speaker, an economic zone in the same facility, where now, Madam Speaker, we are going to start processing phosphate. I want to thank the Ministry of Mines, because we work as a team. They have given a mining license to the wonderful group of companies to be mining phosphate, which is a component needed into manufacturing fertilizer, which is a component needed into the mining facilities, Madam Speaker. Just the phosphate plant alone, Madam Speaker, will also come with 10,000 more jobs by the second quarter of 2026, Madam Speaker. Value addition, job creation, and industrialization. Madam Speaker, we are committed to making sure that we give value addition and industrialization in our sectors. The cotton growing sector, Madam Speaker, had declined. His Excellency the President, with a vision to make sure that Zambia takes ownership of the pride of the Chitenge material that we have, we are reviving Mulungushi textiles. As I speak here, Madam Speaker, we have invested $140 million in the re-equipping of Mulungushi textiles, which is coming with 500 to 600 direct jobs, Madam Speaker. Before the end of this year, we'll be commissioning it sustainably. Madam Speaker, even before we open Mulungushi textiles, because the cotton production facilities had declined, as a government, in partnership with the Chinese government, we had invested $40 million in outgrower schemes to over 4,000 cotton farmers, Madam Speaker, in our country. This is what we talk about, growing an economy without leaving anyone else behind. Madam Speaker, as a ministry responsible for investment, we have gone an extra mile, Madam Speaker, to bring more investment in different sectors, not limited to mining, agriculture, health, and others. But let me say something that is very important in the mining sector that we have done. Madam Speaker, I will not talk about Mopani, I will not talk about KCM, I will not talk about FQM, and neither will I talk about Lumwana. Let me talk about the small-scale mining sector, Madam Speaker, because it is an industry and partly falls under my portfolio, Madam Speaker, as we work with my dear brother in the Ministry of Mines. Madam Speaker, 1,498 small-scale mining licenses have been given. Each small-scale license, Madam Speaker, to be formed, it requires a minimum of 10 people. The 10 people, Madam Speaker, must employ on average 50 people to operate a mining license. If we multiply 50 times 1,498, Madam Speaker, we are talking about jobs that have just been newly created for our youths in excess of 74,000 jobs alone in the small scale sector, Madam Speaker. Over 74,000 jobs, Madam Speaker, the President has been focusing on our youths. It is the more reason why, Madam Speaker, the passion and love for the youth that we have in our country, His Excellency had gone on an extra mile to bring in free education. No one will develop the economy of this country, Madam Speaker, if we leave the youth behind. They need to be brought in the value chain. And free education, Madam Speaker, those that were left out now can sit on a table and debate meaningfully to the growth of our economy. Madam Speaker, I need to talk about international trade, which His Excellency talked about. Zambia has continued to grow its trade portfolio locally and outside the country. But the challenge that we have, Madam Speaker, we're talking about the energy sector, which I will highlight in my concluding remarks. Madam Speaker, our GDP has grown to 4% during the toughest times of drought that we had. Madam Speaker, do not forget that not very long ago, our GDP was declining to a tune of negative 2.8%. The reason why, because there was no production, there was no export, and there was no trade. Enhanced trade, Madam Speaker, provides stable facilities or components that enhance trade. That's why we have seen that our inflation is declining. Our currency is stable. Our fuel costs are stable and have reduced in the past 7 months from 35 kwacha to 25 kwacha. Madam Speaker, this has enabled our local traders who are trading internationally to have a stronger kwacha to trade with the people outside the country. Madam Speaker, it is for this cause that I wish to acknowledge and recognize the commitment of His Excellency the President and the policies of the New Dawn government that are premised on value addition, industrialization, and trade within the country using the local resource and human capital. Madam Speaker, I want to congratulate His Excellency the President through the Ministry of Health. Not very long ago when we took over the reins of government, numbers don't lie. The availability of drugs in hospitals, Madam Speaker, was 37% of essential drugs. Every day when anybody goes to hospital, Madam Speaker, they are getting prescriptions. Today, Zambia has got 86% of essential drugs availability. The other 14% missing, Madam Speaker, is of drugs like antiretroviral drugs and cancer drugs, which we don't manufacture in the country yet. The President demonstrated leadership. The first time he left State House to sit in a ministry was at the Ministry of Health. And we have found the solution to the problem. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, allow me to assure the country that the challenges of energy going through, Madam Speaker, could have been worse if we never brought in reforms where we have open access, get the private sector to provide power to the needy, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are also investing heavily in a diverse energy production sectors, Madam Speaker. As opposed to dependence on hydro, Madam Speaker, we are investing in coal, we are investing in solar and other geothermal areas. Madam Speaker, I wish it was available for me to itemize a number of the presidential pronouncement. But for this cause, I want to call on the Zambian population that believe and have faith that we are headed in the right direction to grow our economy without leaving anyone behind. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this great opportunity given to Minister of Local Government and Rural Development to render the ministerial statement on the speech delivered by His Excellency the President on the floor of this very august House. Madam Speaker, at the very outset, allow me to recall the President's call for accelerated economic transformation anchored on inclusivity and shared prosperity. This statement places local government at the heart of development delivery for its community level, that inclusivity and prosperity must be realized. Madam Speaker, the President emphasized that no citizen shall be left behind in the quest for national development. In this regard, my ministry is ensuring that the district and ward development plans are harmonized with the 8th National Development Plan, so that local government structures remain the principal vehicles for implementing programs that directly reach out to our citizens. Madam Speaker, His Excellency reminded us that resources must be prudently utilized to deliver tangible benefits to our people. Financing remains a major challenge for our local authorities. To this effect, my ministry is one ensuring the timely release and strict accountability of constituency development fund allocations and other grants. 2, supporting local authorities to broaden their own revenue in order to reduce dependence on central transfers. Introducing performance-based financing mechanisms that will reward local authorities demonstrating efficiency and fiscal discipline. Madam Speaker, notable achievements under the CDF include, among others, 156 monitoring vehicles, 156 police service vehicles. Government has further procured 156 ambulances, out of which 119 have been distributed to various countries so far. Since the year 2024, government recruited and empowered over 2,480,000 beneficiaries on a cash for work program as drought response intervention to alleviate the adverse effect of the 2023-2024 drought to the general citizenry in 123 constituencies, or may I say in 87 districts. Madam Speaker, the President underscored the need for a professional and efficient public service that is responsive to citizens' needs. In line with this directive, my ministry is collaborating with the Local Government Service Commission to deploy critical staff to local authorities in engineering, planning, procurement, and monitoring and evaluation. Additionally, we are scaling up training programs to strengthen service delivery capacities across all the 116 districts. Madam Speaker, the head of state stressed that accountability and transparency are non-negotiable in the management of public resources. My ministry is enhancing oversight at the local level through 1, strengthening audit mechanisms and compliance with procurement procedures, 2, enhance community monitoring of CDF projects, and 3, mandatory publication of budgets, procurement plans, and project updates by all councils, both physically on Northboard and digitally on the council websites to keep citizens informed. Madam Speaker, His Excellency highlighted the importance of infrastructure in economic recovery, stating that improved roads, markets, and public facilities are enablers of productivity and dignity. Accordingly, my ministry is upgrading rural and feeder roads to enhance connectivity, to modernizing markets and bus stations to improve revenue collection and restore order, and number 3, expanding solid waste management services to safeguard public health and environmental sustainability. Madam Speaker, since the year 2024, government has rehabilitated and upgraded 47 kilometers of township roads to bituminous standards, rehabilitated about 400 kilometers of feeder roads to gravel standards, and completed a 51-kilometer of concrete line drainages in various districts. Further, government has completed and handed over 14 chiefs' palaces, 8 modern markets, and 2 bus stations across the country. The President's call for result and the measurable progress, not rhetoric, provides us with clear direction. In response, my ministry is developing a robust monitoring and evaluation framework for local government, aligned with the National Performance Management System. This will ensure accurate reporting to this House on the progress and impact of local government and the rural development programs, especially those funded through CDF. Madam Speaker, local government and rural development continue constitutes a bridge through which national aspirations are translated into concrete community outcomes. Guided by His Excellency the President's address, my ministry is committed to strengthening local authorities so that they become engines of inclusive development, transparency, and accountability. Madam Speaker, with those remarks, I do support the President's speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Technology and Science.
Madam Speaker, in response to the inspiring address by His Excellency the President during the opening of Parliament, the Minister of Technology and Science wishes to reaffirm its unwavering commitment to drive Zambia's economic transformation agenda. His Excellency reminded us that technology, science, and innovation are engines of economic transformation. We fully align with this vision and are accelerating investment in ICT infrastructure, enhancing digital literacy, promoting innovation driven by entrepreneurship, and strengthen research and skills development to ensure that every Zambian benefits from the digital economy. Madam Speaker, to ensure this momentum translates into nationwide access, the Ministry is prioritizing access as a key pillar of development. Madam Speaker, in 2025 alone, the government has completed the construction of 82 communication towers offering 2, 3, and 4G services and commenced the construction of an additional 8 towers, bringing the total number of towers constructed as at 31st of June to 359,000 towers. Zamtel, Madam Speaker, has also advanced the national digital agenda through the modernization of its 4G network and is on course to upgrading a total of 600 sites from 2G to 4G by the end of 2025. As part of this program, Zamtel has already upgraded and deployed 235 additional sites. In addition, Madam Speaker, Airtel, in partnership with IHS, will roll out 300 new sites by the end of 2025, further strengthening network coverage and ensuring more Zambians can benefit from fast, reliable mobile and internet services. Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to inform this August House that as a direct result of deliberate policy intervention by government on regional integration, Zambia's fiber optic network has extended to connect our country to all the 8 neighbors to Zambia, firmly placing Zambia on course to become a regional hub. Madam Speaker, in the first half of 2025 alone, our national fiber backbone recorded remarkable growth, with the total network length increasing by 12.5% from 37,000 to 42,000 kilometers. Madam Speaker, to safeguard the integrity of the rapidly expanding digital ecosystem, the government enacted the Cyber Crime Act and the Cyber Security Act, replacing the 2021 legislation. These laws strengthen the legal and institutional framework for cybercrime prevention, critical information protection, and cybersecurity guidelines. As a result, Madam Speaker, Zambia's global cyber index scored improved from 68.8% in 2021 to 92.6% in 2024, placing the country among the best performers in the region and reinforcing digital trust for citizens and investors. Madam Speaker, in line with the presidential call for strong public enterprises that deliver tangible value to the people of Zambia, I'm proud to highlight that the commendable progress made by Zamtel. Profitability has been restored, with the company posting a net profit of 1.47 billion as of end of 2024, raising shareholder equity to over 538 million kwacha. Madam Speaker, the ICT sector continues to create employment and stimulate innovation. Currently, jobs over 300,000 have been created in the sector. Madam Speaker, science, technology, and Madam Speaker, in partnership with development partners such as the UNDP and Huawei Technologies, 3 innovation hubs have been established, namely the Timbuktu Mindtech, the Mukuba Uniport at the Cobalt University, and the Digital Innovation Hub here in Lusaka. The Mindtech Hub is meant to host African innovators in the mining sector under the Timbuktu initiative by UNDP, and in 2025, the hub has hosted 10 innovators from across Africa, out of which 5 were awarded $25,000 each to finalize their innovation. One of the beneficiaries, Madam Speaker, of this fund is a Zambian innovator called Lukonde. The Mukuba Uniport, Madam Speaker, is currently supporting over 100 innovators, with over 10 innovations being developed this year. Additionally, my ministry, in collaboration with the University of Zambia, is supporting 20 student innovators out of the 93 shortlisted. Further, Madam Speaker, 100 innovations were enrolled in 2025 cohort of the ICT Innovation Program in the first half of the year. The 2025 program focused on 9 thematic areas, namely health, agriculture, education, energy, banking, digital financial services, e-commerce, tourism, hospitality, transport, environment, and climate change. Madam Speaker, skills development. 1. Curriculum development. In response to the Presidential Directive on climate change-related issues, the Ministry developed various curriculum in irrigation, groundwater, and maintenance. 5 institutions were selected to offer these programs, and 3 of them are already providing the skills training in solar energy installation. This curriculum was developed to provide competence-based education and training so as to produce readily available hands-on graduates for industry. This will ensure that students spend 40% in training in the institution and 60% in industry.
Honorable Minister, you may start to wind up. Your time is almost.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Number 2, key infrastructure. Madam Speaker, we have completed a number of infrastructure, in particular in partnership with the private sector. The Chapula construction of a brand new Tibet institution, which will be turned into a polytechnic at the cost of 2.5 million kwacha. Madam Speaker, in partnership with various operating partners, $5 million to equip our Tibet institution, including Nortec, Kitwe, and other colleges. Madam Speaker, I wish to state that we are on the move in terms of skills delivery. We are
The
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise with profound gratitude for the opportunity to contribute to the debate on the motion of thanks to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. Mr. President's address to this august House was not merely inspiring, it was a bold and visionary blueprint for Zambia's future. His message resonated with unwavering hope, clarity, and a resolute commitment to inclusive development. He laid out a transformative agenda that champions economic revitalization, social justice, and national cohesion, reminding us all of the enduring power of leadership rooted in integrity, accountability, and purpose. Madam Speaker, the theme of this year's address, quote, consolidating economic and social gains towards a prosperous, resilient, and equitable Zambia, end of quote, aligns seamlessly with the mission and achievements of my ministry. The two subsectors under my ministry are central to our national development strategy, acting as engines of food security, job creation, rural transformation, and export diversification. Madam Speaker, Zambia is strategically positioned to become a regional hub in the livestock subsector, leveraging its vast natural resources, favorable climate, and growing investment in the animal health and production systems. My ministry has set an ambitious target of $1 billion in beef exports revenues. Madam Speaker, we anticipate that this year this government will be able to export about 20,000 metric tons, which will bring in the country about $200 million. And we are steadily progressing towards this goal. To support this vision, the government is actively strengthening the legislative and regulatory framework to ensure we create an enabling environment for private sector-led growth. In this regard, on 15th September 2025, Cabinet approved the Animal Health Registration of Laboratories regulations and the Animal Identification and Traceability for cattle only. Regulations are expected to follow shortly. Additionally, my ministry is undertaking comprehensive reforms to livestock registration to create a more conducive policy and business environment. This legislative framework is made to boost beef exports, and my ministry has already established 5 beef compartments in eastern, central, and southern provinces to actualize this vision. These disease-free compartments will enable Zambia to meet international beef export standards and expand its footprint in beef trade both in the region and beyond. The initiative to establish compartments will be scaled up to other provinces as this initiative supports our national target of reaching 7.4 million cattle by year 2027, a goal we are steadily approaching. Madam Speaker, as highlighted by Mr. President, the government has significantly expanded vaccination coverage. Despite cattle-related challenges and production shortfalls, we demonstrated resilience and strategic leadership in delivering impactful animal health intervention. Over 600,000 cattle were vaccinated against contagious bovine pneumonia, commonly known as CBPP, reaching a coverage of over 90% of the targeted animals. Almost 2 million doses were administered for foot and mouth, 1.4 million animals were vaccinated against anthrax, and 53,000 pets were vaccinated against rabies. Madam Speaker, building on the progress, my ministry will continue to augment these efforts through the local production of critical vaccines, including those for Newcastle disease and East Coast fever. Furthermore, the construction of a state-of-the-art viral vaccine plant in Chilanga is underway. This facility will reduce dependence on imports and ensure timely access to essential vaccines at affordable prices. Madam Speaker, Significant progress has also been made in value addition and manufacturing. Over 1,000 farmers trained in modern production, packaging and processing. Foundation work completed for livestock and poultry aggregation centers. 13 of 16 priority projects under the 2024 Public Investment Plan were launched, with 7 of them passing 50% completion. On the trade front, over 8,000 metric tons of fish feed was exported to East Africa. Annual average of over 1,200 metric tons of tilapia exports, and expansion of non-traditional export, including chicken hatching eggs, honey, and hides. These milestones reflect Zambia's strategic focus on transforming agricultural value chains, empowering producers, and positioning itself a regional leader in agro-industrial innovation and trade. Madam Speaker, through a transformative livestock development initiative, over 15,000 vulnerable households benefited from stocking and restocking programs, particularly in goats and pigs, with steady growth in sheep, ducks, quails, and turkeys. Under the Environment Sustainable Pillar, Madam Speaker, over 5,900 hectares of pasture were planted. Forage availability improved for 890 smallholder dairy farmers. 9,500 hectares of degraded rangeland were rehabilitated. Infrastructure development is progressing, with site selection finalized for 45 watering points and livestock safe centers. Construction in Mbala and Mungwe has reached 60% completion, reflecting our commitment to climate-smart and inclusive livestock development. Madam Speaker, turning to fisheries, I am pleased to report that through the progressive initiatives alluded by His Excellency, the President in his address, fish production increased from 178,000 metric tons in 2023 to 197,000 metric tons in 2024, representing a 10.5% rise. This growth has been driven by both aquaculture and improved management of natural water bodies, reflecting the resilience, innovation, and dedication of our fish farmers. Zambia has now emerged as the leading exporter of fish in the region, a testament to our strategic investments and policy reforms in the fisheries sector. A key milestone in this journey is the establishment of the Aquaculture Research Institute of Zambia in Kafue, commonly called ARES, is spearheading advanced research in fish genetics, feed formulation, disease control, and climate resilience aquaculture system, all aimed at enhancing productivity, sustainability, and competitiveness of Zambia's aquaculture industry. We remain firmly committed to investment in fisheries to further increase production, boost exports, and create more jobs for our people. Madam Speaker, the President's call for Zambia to become a nation of producers, not merely traders and consumers, is a call we have wholeheartedly embraced. In response, we are empowering farmers and fishers with the tools, knowledge, and support they need to thrive. Through these efforts, we are contributing to food security, economic growth, and rural transformation. Moreover, we are creating opportunities for youth and women and building a Zambia that is not only self-sufficient, but also a net exporter of high-quality livestock and fish products. Madam Speaker, in closing, I wish to reaffirm our full support for the President's vision and the National Development Agenda. My ministry stands ready to consolidate the gains we have made and drive further progress. Let us continue to work together across ministries, sectoral members of Parliament, local authorities, traditional leaders, and communities to build a better, more prosperous Zambia for all. Madam Speaker, thank you.
You didn't indicate. I'm looking at this list. It's okay. If you are not ready.
Sorry, Madam Speaker, your mic was off when you were. Okay. So I'm ready, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the motion of thanks addressed to this House on Friday, 12 September 2025 by the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. Madam Speaker, allow me to express my gratitude to the President for the visionary leadership he has shown since taking over the reins of power. May I also thank him for being bold and making tough choices to be able to turn around the economy of this country, which was growing in the negatives. Madam Speaker, on the floor of the House, I have heard several debates, some coming from people that at some point were running this country, and you'd be surprised as to how they are pointing out things that really were a result of decisions that were made during their time.
Yeah.
Madam Speaker, I want to liken what President Hakainde Hichilema and his government have done in the past 4 years, because when the President came to this House giving that speech, he basically gave a plethora of the achievements that this government has done in the past 4 years. Madam Speaker, President Hakainde Hichilema was like, I would liken him from a story in the good book, which talks about the 3 talents that were given to 3 people. And these 3 people, Madam Speaker, when they were given these talents, one of them just squeezed that talent and buried it in the ground. That is what we are coming from, Madam Speaker. But now there came this man who was given another talent in 2021 of running Zambia. And Madam Speaker, I realized that Zambia has 20 million people. And for these people to be fed from what I'll call this mango tree called Zambia, or this cow called Zambia, it needed to be fed, because this cow or this tree was actually dying because it was growing in the negative.
Yeah.
Any child, Madam Speaker, or any cow or any mango tree that is stunted, it can't feed its people.
Yeah.
It can only feed when it grows, when it is taken out of where it is locked up to begin to flourish and grow, and that's when you begin to feed off of it. And Zambia was in that space, Madam Speaker.
Yeah.
And therefore, President HH decided to do things that will feed this cow to begin to grow big, so that its people can begin to feed off of it. It was growing in negative 2.8%. The first thing that he did with his team was to deal with debt restructuring, because this country was highly indebted. And Madam Speaker, you cannot breathe. I usually give this as an example to our miners or anybody who works. That is like you are getting your salary, and immediately you get that salary, or those that you have borrowed from, and they get your salary, and you can't feed your children. So he decided to be wise and go to Abakaloba and tell them, can we restructure this debt so that I have a breather to feed my children, and also be able to pay you a little later when I'm in a good space, because I have to make sure my children are fed, but also I make resources that will be able to pay this debt. Debt restructuring, Madam Speaker. In parallel, he also looked at which are the low-hanging fruits that will make this economy begin to grow from negative 2.8% first into the positives. Because when we are growing in the negative sense, it means you are dying, it means you are rotting. So it needed to bring the numbers from the negatives to the positives. And he looked at the low-hanging fruit. Number one, Madam Speaker, is the mining sector. He, being the backbone of this economy, he decided that we must resuscitate the low-hanging fruit. Wherever you are going, anywhere to pluck fruits, you can't go to those fruits that are very high. The nearest ones which are ripe, that's where you go for. And he went to the mining sector
to resuscitate the mining sector, bring it back to life so that it injects new life into the economy. We have talked about the issues of Mopani, and he gave an instruction, Madam Speaker, that there should be no mining in court. We must mine on the mine site, because most mining companies, Madam Speaker, were actually riddled with a lot of legal battles. KCM in comatose, Mopani, confusion, everything was just dying. And he said, let us bring order, let us be methodical and bring order so that these mining companies can begin to breathe, because, Madam Speaker, you go for the low-hanging fruits to bring back life. Madam Speaker, in parallel, he also ordered, Madam Speaker, that we begin to map this country so that we can begin targeted exploration and targeted mining. Because apart from the low-hanging fruits, we can also go to the high-hanging fruits. And that is the brownfield mines. How do we open this up so that they contribute, excuse me, Madam Speaker, they contribute more to the growth of this economy? And we began mapping of the country. And Madam Speaker, for the first time he said, we are not going to do Chipante government. In other words, Madam Speaker, he didn't want us to be in a soccer pitch which has no goals. Then why are you playing that game? Because our colleagues had a playing field with no goals. But when President HH came, he said, we are going to set goals. So that when we are playing that football game, we know where we are scoring. In the mining sector, this is your goal, 3 million tons. In the agricultural sector, this is your goal, 10 million tons. Again, in the livestock sector, this is your goal, $1 billion worth of export of beef. So each sector, Madam Speaker, has goals, and we are playing in the field while we know where we are going. That is what is called methodical. In the mining space, 3 million tons of copper, formalization of artisanal mining so that we mop up the gold in the country. And these are the goals that were set so that we achieve the targets of making this economy grow. Madam Speaker, in the mining sector, I come back. Already copper production has shown positive trajectory. We are growing at more than 16%. This year, our target is to reach the psychological barrier of 1 million tons. In the agricultural sector, we already have a bumper harvest this year. Madam Speaker, like I said in my submission earlier today, before 2020, the artisanal mining sector was actually contributing about 13,000 metric tons. During the reign of the UPND, because of the good policies, because of targeted work, the artisanal subsector in terms of copper contributed over 45,000. This year we are targeting that we should hit 80,000 tons from the artisanals. That is what it means when you are working with targeted goals. You are working not with pante, but you are methodical. Madam Speaker, in my preamble as I began to submit, I said our economy was growing at negative 2.8%. Because of these targeted goals, now it is growing.
You can start to wind up.
Indeed, Madam Speaker, I'll be concluding. Now the economy has begun to show positive trajectory, even amidst a very bad drought in living memory that we experience as a country, from negative 2.8 to now averaging 5.8%. When something begins to grow, when a cow begins to be fattened, that's when you can now begin to get the milk. That's when you can begin to milk it so that you feed our people. And that is what this kind of leadership has brought to the table, Madam Speaker. Numbers don't lie. Copper production is rising, both from large-scale mines and artisanal mines. I can go on and talk about how we've opened mines all over, how the agricultural sector is flourishing, how the manufacturing sector is flourishing, how that we are now a net exporter of fertilizer because of targeted policies, because of not doing chipante, but well planned and targeted kind of
governance. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Madam Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, and indeed on my own behalf, I wish to extend my deepest gratitude to the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for his visionary and inspiring address delivered to this august House during the official opening of the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly. His address, under the theme Consolidating Economic and Social Gains Towards a Prosperous, Resilient and Equitable Zambia, has once again given our nation a clear and progressive roadmap for development. Madam Speaker, when he came on the floor of the House, he stated as follows, and I quote, "Today, we reflect on the progress we have made, the challenges that remain, and our shared national future." Madam Speaker, he clearly stated that when we assumed government, the economy was growing in the negative, minus 2.8%. And I want to quote a few numbers, Madam Speaker, as I continue my debate. Average growth from 2017 to 2020 was 1.5%. This grew to 5.2% between 2021 and 2024. Madam Speaker, when you look at figures across all sectors, there is growth everywhere. Mining is on the upswing. Maize production of a bumper harvest. Fish production has moved from 178,000 tons to 73,000 tons. Madam Speaker, investments have doubled, if not tripled. SMEs now receive over 1.5 billion kwacha. These positive gains must be sustained. When you come to progress in the water sector, the President highlighted that in the water and sanitation sector, progress really has been a true reflection of what focused leadership and prudent use of national resources can achieve. Since 2021, over 2,000 boreholes, 491 piped water schemes, and 671 boreholes have been rehabilitated and have brought clean and safe water to almost 1 million of our citizens. Through the Enhanced Constituency Development Fund, our people are today benefiting from over 2,700 water, sanitation and hygiene facilities in schools, health centers, markets, bus stations and communities. These are tangible results of the new Dawn government's commitment to delivering for the people, in sharp contrast to years when promises were made but never fulfilled. Madam Speaker, further, the successful completion of a lot of transformative projects such as Kafulafuta, Kazungula, Kafue Bulk and Kaputa, along with ongoing projects in small towns and on the Copper Belt, demonstrates that under the leadership of His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, no part of Zambia is being left behind. These investments are not just about water, they are about public health, they are about job creation, they are about the dignity of our people and resilience in the face of climate change. Madam Speaker, as Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, I reaffirm unwavering commitment to actualizing the President's vision through accelerated investments, strong policies, and effective management of our water resources. This government is not in the business of rhetoric, but of action. We are laying foundations that will secure water for agriculture, water for energy, industry, and households, thereby driving economic growth and improving the quality of all Zambians. Madam Speaker, let me also commend the President for the decentralization policy. And I want to give an example of my own constituency, Nangoma. And when I was hearing our colleagues debate on the floor of this House, basically ridiculing CDF, I was left in shock. In Nangoma, Madam Speaker, there is free education like the rest of the country. We've built classroom blocks there. We've built clinics from Narubanda to Choma to Nakasaka. Every ward in Nangoma constituency has benefited immensely from CDF. We've drilled boreholes there, over 150 boreholes in Nangoma constituency, over 150 boreholes. We've built clinics in Nangoma constituency. Madam Speaker, we had no vehicles at all. Now we have an ambulance. Our people's health care services will be improved. Now we have a police vehicle. Where I come from, we are cattle keepers. We are able to catch those cattle rustlers now. We have a Land Cruiser, a Kuru. Madam Speaker, we also have a vehicle we are using for supervising 3 Land Cruisers in Nangoma. Madam Speaker, if CDF is not working, then what is this? Madam Speaker, we have built bridges in Nangoma. There were no bridges at all in Nangoma. In the rain season, our pupils would not go to school. We have built 6 good bridges in Nangoma. We are rehabilitating our roads, Madam Speaker. Roads are being rehabilitated because we are now prudently utilizing our resources, Madam Speaker. Other services are coming to Nangoma. We have received 3 towers in Nangoma. Our connectivity has improved. 3 towers. In Ikezwa, in Shichanzu, in Kalundu. Network connectivity. Madam Speaker, our pupils are being supported with skills. A lot of people in Nangoma have improved their education. Madam Speaker, we've built waterborne toilets in Nangoma. It was, Madam Speaker, we have built waterborne toilets in Nangoma. It was not fashionable those days. Madam Speaker, even those who rise and say CDF is not working, they are benefiting. Their people appreciate these benefits. This is a game changer. You cannot hide development. It's there for all to see. And we must appreciate that CDF is working. Madam Speaker, we've built clinics. Those days, the people of Makuyabo and the Nangoma constituency used to receive their health services under a tree. There's a clinic there. There's a maternity annex there. We've built waterborne toilets there. We've put solar there. Just like we've put these things in a lot of places, and yet some are still in denial. Madam Speaker, as I close, let me reiterate the fact that we are doing everything possible to ensure that our water and sanitation services in the country are improved. Madam Speaker, we are improving services for all commercial utilities. Madam Speaker, we are taking water to high-density areas, particularly in the Copper Belt. We have plans, and in the budget you will see that we have lobbied for more funding to the water sector. Places like Mufurira, Chiringola, Chirilabongwe, Kitwe, which are very water-stressed, we have a plan there. The projects which remained those days will be completed. Madam Speaker, we are working very closely with the Ministry of Health to ensure that cholera hotspots will provide water there. Madam Speaker, Kanyama, we've drilled many boreholes there. Madam Speaker, the projects which were left by our friends, this government has put in money. We are completing these projects, and soon, and very soon, we will improve water and sanitation services in all the parts of the country. Water is life. Sanitation is life. These services, this government will ensure that we support them, and we support them with adequate funding. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chiengi, we are behind time. The motion has to be closed today. So we are not taking any points of order because there's still a list of ministers before Her Honor the Vice President comes in. The Honorable Minister for Luapula Province.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving the opportunity to the good people of Luapula to debate the presidential speech. To start with, I would have loved the members on your left to be around because they impoverished Luapula province. As I begin to debate the presidential speech, allow me to thank President Hakainde Hichilema for the well-articulated address to this august house that has really inspired the nation. And from the onset, I wish to most sincerely thank God Almighty for having chosen President Hakainde Hichilema in 2021 from among many men and women to come and resuscitate this country from the shackles of economic mismanagement. And as you remember, this country was in ICU only 4 years ago. It was bleeding from social and economic mismanagement. Madam Speaker, in 2021, all economic indicators had collapsed as the country's debt stock became unsustainable, while violence became part of PF's political chemistry. Through President Hakainde Hichilema's vision and state leadership, we have witnessed restoration of investor confidence, and now the economy is on the positive trajectory. This year is expected to close at 6%. Madam Speaker, President Hakainde Hichilema, as a chief marketing officer of this country, has managed to stabilize the micro and the macroeconomic fundamentals of our economy. You will agree that the exchange rate is now stable. Inflation rate is moving towards a single digit. We have just witnessed the highest bumper harvest. We've also witnessed increased investment in the mining sector and the restoration of public peace. These are just among the many accolades that puts him in the driving seat even as we race into 2026. Madam Speaker, I will talk about decentralization and devolution, and this is principally the implementation of CDF. Madam Speaker, Luapula has seen for the first time since the end of UNIPIRU improvements of feeder roads across all districts. Thanks to the directive from President Hakainde Hichilema that all councils procure yellow machines, and through the CDF for providing 3.2 million per constituents for fuel and lubrication. This, Madam Speaker, has made it possible for all councils to work on their feeder roads, unless those opposition MPs want to see that this is not working. And as the rain season approaches, Madam Speaker, my worries as provincial ministers are diminishing, as many feeder roads will remain passable. In addition to the improvement of feeder roads, we've seen that under CDF, rural health centers, maternity annexes, police posts, classrooms, markets, and many other community projects have been built indiscriminately. We've also seen that desk ambulances, including water ambulances, because we are a province that boasts about 30% water bodies. So expect that there are districts on water like Lunga.
the people of Luapula province will remain forever indebted to President Hakainde Hichilema for the enhanced CDF, as it has completely changed the face of our province. Madam Speaker, I want to talk about energy. Madam Speaker, on energy, I wish to correct the narrative by the members who debated on your left past few days with regards to the generation of electricity. Madam Speaker, it's true that when the PF took over in 2011, the generation installed capacity was around 1,600 megawatts and left it at 3,300 megawatts. This translates only to 150 megawatts per year during their rule. Madam Speaker, the 2024 drought is undeniably impacted negatively both on power generation and agricultural output. But this situation has also provided an opportunity for the country to diversify in energy generation mix. Under the UPND government, this year alone, Zambia is expected to add over 300 megawatts generation capacity through the various energy mix, but largely from the solar generation. And next year, we expect another addition of 300 megawatts through GEMO generation that is expected to be added to the national grid by June next year. Obviously, we're talking about the Mamba. Luapula alone will add 50 megawatts through the Mabumba solar power plant when it is completed this year and is ahead of schedule. Madam Speaker, I was taken aback when some of the speakers from your left doubted the ability of our available transmission network to take on the current new Dons and administration plan for 1,000 megawatts. Madam Speaker, while the transmission network requires investments, the current infrastructure supports power evacuation from the planned projects, so there is no need to worry. Madam Speaker, the ZTK interconnector was conceived in 1995, and the successful government failed to actualize it. But the new Dawn administration, due to its prudent economic management, this project has now attracted investments to the tune of $298 million through the World Bank. And this implementation is imminent, starting this December. This project will open Zambia to more energy trade through the East African power pool, which generally has surplus and cheap energy. Therefore, this administration is focused on both short-term and long-term solutions. In terms of infrastructure, Madam Speaker, all major gateway roads to Luapula province, the Tuta Road and the Pedico roads, including the inter-district roads, were left in a deplorable state by the PF regime. Madam Speaker, let me just say that Luapula in general was neglected during the 20 years of MMD as well as the 10 years of PF rule, because, and I want to give an example, the PF government fully financed and paid for the construction of the Pedico road, but the road was not done. Simply put, there is no road today. Obviously, the Womba Mwibara syndrome was heavily entrenched on the Pedico road.
Meaning what, Honorable Minister?
Meaning those who work in the field, they will also feed from there. It is heartbreaking, Madam Speaker, that Luapula was portrayed as a land of beautiful roads and a bedroom for the PF, yet the reality was opposite. Madam Speaker, this administration has developed a long-term plan to improve the road infrastructure across the province. And as I speak, in the next 2 weeks, we will be doing groundbreaking ceremony for the Kasaila, Musaila, Kasaba Road and the Kashikishu Runchinda Road to signify the commencement of the construction of the two economic roads. Madam Speaker, I will be failing if I do not acknowledge that works on the Kasomeno Mwenda toll roads are advanced and once completed will bring economic benefit.
Honorable Minister, you can start to wind up.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. With regards to agriculture, Luapula is supposed to become the food basket. The province is blessed with fertile soils and receives predictable rain. Madam Speaker, in the last few years, we have seen people flocking for land in Luapula. I want to urge the MPs that become investors in Luapula because land will finish very soon. Madam Speaker, the Rona farming block in Luapula has been opened up for investments as it is now electrified and has now good roads across the farming block. Today we can boast of increased inflow of investment in the farming block, with the first ever biggest avocado farm in Africa expected to start first harvest this October, while the Kawamba sugar is expected to be commissioned in 2027, becoming the biggest sugar factory in the country, with an expected...
Your time is up.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Sorry, we are behind time, Honorable Minister. The Honorable Minister for Central Province.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to debate. I wish to express my sincere gratitude for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the national address by the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, during the official opening of the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly on Friday, 12th September 2025. Madam Speaker, the address by the President of the Republic of Zambia once again lived to the expectations of the people of Central Province on the progress that has been made in key sectors of the economy due to the undertaking of socio-economic transformation in the last 4 years by the New Dawn administration. Therefore, the theme for this year's address, consolidating economic and social gains towards prosperous, resilient, and equitable Zambia, felt right and resonated well with the province initiatives and innovation efforts to manage the investment as well as the social ills that the province has. Madam Speaker, Central Province has recorded significant economic growth in the last 4 years, while the national level was averaging 5.6% growth rate between 2021 and 2024. Central Province average nominal economic growth rate at about 23.2%, growing from 24 billion kwacha in 2020 to 44.9 billion kwacha in 2023. This remarkable growth is largely attributed to increase in production and private sector investment, mining and agriculture. Madam Speaker, the President's address on agriculture development reminded the nation about the historical 4 million metric tons of maize production during the 2024-2025 agricultural season. This has underscored the government's commitment to drive the sustainable and resilient national food security and ensure economic growth. We are proud to indicate that out of that which was produced or which is to be produced in the 2024-2025, 680,000 metric tons of this maize is being produced in Central Province. You may also wish to note that in the last 4 years, Central Province has produced a total of 2,054,208.5 metric tons of maize, making this province the regional food basket in the country. In the same period, we have been able to produce 736,539 metric tons of soybeans and 508,520 metric tons of wheat. For wheat alone, Central Province accounts for more than 71% of the national production. This has made the province to be the country's food basket, and we are grateful to the President and the New Dawn administration for the continued visionary leadership so that we can continue to grow the provincial economy. More initiatives are being set up to support our farmers in order to achieve the 1 million metric ton target of maize grain by 2030 towards attaining the national target of 10 million metric tons. Madam Speaker, Constituency Development Fund is making a positive difference in Central Province, more especially in the social sectors. More learners are now sitting on desks, and we have more people accessing the funding from a Constituency Development Fund. In the last 4 years, more than 150,000 desks in province have been procured. In addition, more than 33 health posts and 40 maternity annexes across the province are being constructed. Over 800 boreholes, 100 between 2022 and 2024 have been installed, and are all with all the necessary amenities to ensure there is clear access to clean drinking water as well as good water reticulation. Madam Speaker, we are proud to hear the pronouncements by the President of Zambia on the commitment to promote investment and curb illegal mining, because Central Province is actually also facing this challenge. We are glad to mention that the province has received private sector investment pledges of more than $3 billion in the past 3 years alone. In collaboration with the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development, we have been able to scale up formalization of artisanal and small-scale mining and increase investment in the sector. As the result, an amount of $600 million has been invested in Kutumba Sino Mine alone in Mumba district, and at least $15 million in Waufang new material in Kabwe. You can see, Madam Speaker, that mining is becoming a bigger component of economic growth in Central Province. The government of the Republic of Zambia has paid particular attention to the growth of the manufacturing sector as well. For this reason, the province has been taking stock and supporting the sector very, very well. The commissioning of the Zambia Jiangxi Multi-Economic Zone, also known as the Chivombo Multi-Phase Facility, has continued to create job opportunities and promote agricultural and mining value addition in the province. I am glad to indicate that more than 13 companies have invested in value chain in the Chivombo M phase alone, with an amount of over $200 million that are already operating in the M phase. Among those, of course, include established organizations such as Zamtrust that are also manufacturing a lot with an investment of $7 million, and of course the Jiangxi Battery Technology Group that has also invested $34.2 million in M phase alone. Madam Speaker, we are delighted as Central Province for the commissioning of the Bayer Itaba Seed Production Facility in Kabwe, which became the largest maize seed producer in the sub-Saharan Africa. We are also on course to the reopening of the Zambia-China Mulungushi textiles, as the remaining containers have been shipped into the country. More than $12 million has been invested already in the plants towards the installation of the new equipment and ensuring that very soon we can reopen. Madam Speaker, the government is committed to diversify the energy mix to ensure that the economy remains resilient. We are proud to be part and be the host of Zambia's largest on-site 100 megawatt solar plant, which is located in Chisamba district. And of course opened by the President of the Republic of Zambia. We are also happy to know that there is also the 25 megawatt Mailo solar power plant in Serenje. We have also launched the 50 megawatt solar plant in Mumbwa under the Kitumba Sino mine and 20 megawatt solar plant in Kapirimposhi under the Lusemfo hydropower. More solar projects are expected to be housed in Central Province to ensure that the energy sector is enhanced. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I wish to indicate that we have put first priority to facilitate investment in energy sector in Central Province. We have the target of ensuring that the province produces at least 395 megawatts by 2030 from alternative energy to contribute to national solar target. We will support the government in the province and ensure the facilitation of solar plants by private sector and public sector. I submit and I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The last minister, the acting Minister of Health. There's no one. Her Honor, the Vice President.
Madam Speaker, I thank you for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the debate on the address to this august House by the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, during the official opening of the fifth session of the 13th National Assembly on Friday, 12th September 2025. Allow me to begin by thanking God Almighty for His continued protection of our country. May I also extend my sincere gratitude to the President for his profound and well-delivered address to the nation under the theme, Economic and Social Resilient and Equitable Zambia. There cannot be a better theme for a time such as this one. From the theme, Madam Speaker, we can see how inspiring the speech, the address was to the nation and indeed to the House. The President was very sincere in his speech. The speech was not just a reflection, it was a declaration of progress, resilience, and unwavering commitment to the Zambian people going forward. The country is yet to recover from the effects of the severe drought that we experienced in the recent past, despite an improvement in the rainfall pattern experienced last season. The adverse weather conditions have had a negative impact on most of the sectors of our economy, such as water, energy, and the food system, which is agriculture. This shows, by the President stating this shows his sincerity and strength of character by not shying away from stating the challenges that the country is facing. May I join the President in acknowledging that the severe drought has affected the livelihoods of our people, threatened our food security, rendered our water levels at a record low, and as a consequence, our electricity generation is at its lowest. This has resulted in long hours of load shedding. May I take this opportunity to also commend our fellow citizens for their resilience during the challenging times. Zambians know this. You can political all you want, but Zambians know and they understand the situation. Madam Speaker, the President rightly identified our energy challenges as stemming from years of underinvestment and the reliance on hydropower. While other countries prepared for climate change by diversifying their energy sources, Zambia lagged behind. The underinvestment in renewable energy sources like solar and other green energy sources shows a lack of foresight on the part of the previous administrations. as it is, if the president had not brought on board the initiatives and investment in the other sources of energy, Zambia would not be talking of this kind of load shedding. We would probably be shut down, because the hydropower today, as it was, would be far, far too low compared to what is needed in the country. We should also appreciate the participation of the private sector participation, particularly the private power traders that are contributing in this country by importing power into the country. Because if they didn't, that would mean that we would not have even the kind of power we have into the industry, into the mining. Because as we are, ZESCO had been run down. They have no capacity to buy power. So let nobody mislead Zambians that the participation of the private sector is negative to our economy. It's very important, and we appreciate them. We know there are 5 main ones that are in this. You can name some of them, because people will come here and they shout loudest about Canona or Greenco or CEC. Those are really helping to continue to make the energy available and therefore continue to drive the economic agenda. Climate change is fundamentally a problem of water. It affects water availability, quality, and distribution, which in turn impacts energy production, agriculture, and overall human well-being. The water energy food nexus highlights the complexity of these challenges. The UPND government recognizes these interdependencies and is taking significant steps to liberalize the energy sector by encouraging alternative sources of energy, such as solar. We have heard from Central Province what he has talked about is mainly solar, which is doing tremendous work, and they are self-sufficient in power in Central Province. Therefore, it is indeed a misguided perspective to undermine the efforts of UPND government during these challenging times. The leadership demonstrated by the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, is commendable. Madam Speaker, may I echo the heartfelt words of Mr. President, and I quote, "We feel the pain and frustration of power outages faced by our citizens, including our families, friends, and loved ones. No one has been spared." This is a mark of true leadership. The leader in the President Hakainde Hichilema is one who understands, feels, and acknowledges the suffering of his people. The UPND government under President Hichilema is working tirelessly to address the energy crisis, fully aware of its impact on households, businesses, and the broader economy. Those that listened and those that are reading will agree with me. Pollution of Kafue River by Sino, or general pollution in the country. Madam Speaker, it is deeply regrettable that pollution in the Kafue River, Chambishi Stream, and Mwambashi River have disrupted the lives of communities who rely on these water bodies, while also degrading water quality and posing serious risks to aquatic ecosystems, farmland, and public health. This, I must say, the government is taking it very serious steps, including curbing the issue of illegal mining. I think we have seen how our president is working to ensure that the illegality found in mining can be stopped by bringing in formalization of small-scale miners, artisanal mining. And we have seen that the government is working to normalize this and help them to follow through with safe mining. Madam Speaker, you have seen, for me, I've seen literally no one finished on time, because there are many, many things that you can talk about that come from the speech of the address by the President. May I just say, Madam Speaker, that all Zambians, I urge all Zambians to support the President's speech, the President's vision, and the concerted efforts our government is making to improve Zambia's economy through our transformative programs. I can assure you, Madam Speaker, that when the economy improves, this is a strong belief, that when the economy improves, all the things we worry about will fall into place. Because an empowered person is capable of making their own decisions. As long as poverty is what drives us, because a few people want to be rich, because the governments can't make the right policies to grow the economy inclusively, we will remain behind. This is the President that God has allowed for a time such as this. And therefore, let us continue to support him. Let us understand his vision. Clearly, he spent time here to try and bring it home for each one of us to understand what it is all about. To be able to follow through. And when we do, Zambia will not be the same. Under President Hakainde Hichilema, Zambia economically will not be the same. Let us admit this. It will not be the same. We have seen improvement. I could have gone on to talk about what others have spoken about. We have seen the growth of the economy, the GDP, the inflation, going down. We have seen these things. They are not happening by abracadabra. They are happening because there is somebody pushing who understands and is leading, a visionary leader. Let me just end, Madam, by saying, let us also listen carefully. The President spoke of the elections. On the elections, the President assured the nation of peaceful and credible elections. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I just want to say to the Zambians that as we approach the 2026 elections, let us all embrace this assurance of peaceful and credible elections and allow this to be part of our mindset. Think of Zambia when you think of elections. Think of peace, because it is in the environment of peace that we develop. In conclusion, the UPND government is dedicated to making tangible improvements in the lives of our Zambians. Let us unite in supporting these initiatives and work together towards a brighter, more prosperous future for our nation. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chisamba wind-up debate.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank all the honorable members for having debated the President's speech, which was presented to this House on the 12th of September 2025. Madam Speaker, the President gave a very clear roadmap and did not shy away from the challenges that this country is facing. And one of the challenges that this country is facing is the challenge of load shedding. And that is something that the President came out and spoke about without shying off. Madam Speaker, I must say that I was very disappointed as I listened attentively to all the debates that were being presented in this House. In particular, Madam Speaker, was the debate by the Bahati Member of Parliament, who had spoken about the solar plant in Chisamba in particular. Madam Speaker, this is a house of facts. When we come to this house, we need to be factual. And unfortunately, with due respect to the Member of Parliament, he was not factual. On that day, he had said, the day before yesterday when he debated, he said the output or the production on that day at the solar plant was at 0. Now, Madam Speaker, I want to give you statistics of what it was. I'll not give you for the whole day, but I'll give you for the afternoon. As at from 12 hours, it was 87.87 megawatts. At 13 hours, it was at 83.72. 14 hours, it was at 75.76. At 15, it was 57.70. At 16, it was 35.73. At 17, it was 12.19. And he said there was zero output between 16 and 17, and I've just given the right statistics. And therefore, Madam Speaker, the Vice President, when she came to the floor of this House, when we just opened, she was very categorical. She said, this is not a time to politic. Do not bring campaigns on the floor of this House. Time for politicking will come, and therefore we should be factual in this House. Madam Speaker, we have heard from some of our colleagues who have said that there is nothing that this president is doing. But under the visionary leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, we have seen a lot of deliverables. If someone says that there is nothing that is happening, then I don't know which country they live in. Then we don't know what they are doing. Maybe they should be leading to the road that goes to the airport there, Madam Speaker, because there is a hospital somewhere there. Madam Speaker, today, as we speak, we heard the pronouncement of the President where he said cash for work will carry on. And that is a plus to our people. That is empowering our people. Meal allowances, Madam Speaker. The time when our colleagues were in office or were in power, they had cut off the meal allowances. We have brought back the meal allowances as UPND. The school feeding program, we have our children in the rural constituencies who walk long distances and they get to school. You cannot learn on a hungry stomach, Madam Speaker. You cannot learn sitting on the floor. Today we have a lot of desks. Today we are feeding the children. Madam Speaker, when we talk about grants, we have school grants today. Parents used to pay school fees. Parents used to pay that PTA fee. It is not there anymore. All that, Madam Speaker, is being done by our President. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I believe that there is a lot that is being done and there's a lot that we can say. Therefore, Madam Speaker, if I talk about the enhanced CDF, I'm a second termer in this parliament. I was a councillor before. I had an MP that I also used to report into. And whenever we sat to talk about CDF, there was nothing to talk about. But today, we have a lot to talk about. Today we are seeing more classrooms. We have over 2 million children today that have gone back to school. And somebody here can come and say that there's nothing the education sector is doing. Madam Speaker, we've got to be grateful. Madam Speaker, I'll urge my colleagues, whether we like the president or we do not like the president, the man has delivered. Let us give credit where it is due.
Your time is up, Honorable Member. You can wind up.
Yes, Madam
Finish
Speaker.
your sentence.
I will wind up and I will finish my sentence, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I just want to thank everybody that debated once again, and just to remind everybody that, and to assure them that we've got the right driver in the seat. We've got a capable president. Let us support him. We've got the CDF as members of parliament. Let us utilize that CDF. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
I put the question. The question is that the thanks of this assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the President's address. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Her Honor the Vice President, adjournment.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House now adjourns.
The question is that the House now adjourns. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. The House is now adjourned.
Good evening. Thank you so much for still watching Parliament Television. The House has just business that has been considered on the floor of the House from the time business commenced at 14:30. Madam Speaker did make some announcements. Madam Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Blessed Shiloh Christian School in Lusaka District, and also pupils and teachers from Salena Trust School in Lusaka District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly.
In the second announcement, Madam Speaker informed the House that has been granted permission to conduct a free one-day hearing check-up exercise. Hearing the Call is a United States of America-based group of private practice audiologists and volunteers who are passionate about service and committed to the best practice in audiology.
Madam Speaker said that the was in the main reception area of Parliament during the exercise.
The objective of this initiative is to raise awareness about maintain effective hearing capacity on these important public activities. Madam Speaker encouraged all members to take advantage of this complementary health service.
After those announcements, Her Honor the Vice President did move a motion to suspend standing orders. That standing orders are 24-1, 27-2, 87-1, 168-2, and 171-1 and 2 of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024 be suspended to enable the House to sit from 14-15 hours until business is concluded on Friday, 26 September 2025, and also to omit the Vice President's question time from the order paper to enable provincial ministers deal with the estimates of their provinces, both in the committees and on the floor of the House. And so this motion has been adopted.
Yes, indeed, after consideration of that motion, Honorable Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Honorable Kavuswe, MP did issue a mysterious statement on the number of artisanal mining licenses that are being issued to youths in Serenge district from January 2021 to July 2025, year by year, and related matters.
The minister said artisanal and small-scale mining subsector has grown in recent years and serves not only as a source of livelihoods for many people, but also contributes significantly to the country's socio-economic development. He said that this subsector has a high potential to enhance its contribution to the mainstream national economy, revenue generation and wealth creation.
The minister added that government has been making strides in ensuring that the artisanal and small-scale mining subsector is reorganized. He stated that among the interventions being undertaken include formation of mining cooperatives across the various parts of the country, where informal mining and trading activities have been taking place. He added that the ministry has also undertaken capacity building programs for the miners in basic mining methods, skills, occupational health, safety and environmental protection.
The minister informed the House that since 2023 up to 8th August 2025, a total of 1,498 artisanal and small-scale licenses have been issued countrywide, and out of these licenses, 1,201 are in gold mining and 297 are in non-gold mining commodities such as manganese and copper.
The minister also added that developments are encouraging, adding that it is important to underscore that artisanal mining activities face several challenges. Amongst the challenges, the minister stated that these include a lack of access to geological information, limited access to finance and markets, lack of mining equipment and technology, lack of technical skills, and occupational health and environmental safety concerns in the mining operations.
The minister stated that government, in addressing the various challenges by artisanal and small-scale miners, is undertaking initiatives that include the following: establishment of a dedicated department of artisanal and small-scale mining, facilitating access to finance, markets and equipment for artisanal and small-scale miners, conducting capacity building programs and training for miners on basic mining methods, skill development, occupational health and safety.
Encouraging information of cooperatives to enhance collective participation and granting them artisanal mining license, mining rights, and undertaking a countrywide high-resolution aerial geophysical survey.
The minister reiterated that government's agenda is to transform the artisanal and small-scale mining subsector into a sustainable driver of job creation, revenue generation, and socio-economic development. He said that the issuance of artisanal mining licenses to youths in Serenja is not just about access to mineral rights, but also about providing them with a getaway to opportunity, empowerment and dignity. And so this, in brief, is a ministerial statement that was presented by the Minister of Mines and Minerals Development.
Yes, indeed, after that ministerial statement, the House did consider one question or understanding order 82. This is a question of urgent in nature, and question 24 did come from Mr. Yotam Mutayachalo, who is Chairman of the Member of Parliament. He did ask the Minister of Finance and National Planning in two parts. A, what are the cause of the erratic disbursement of the 2025 Constituency Development Fund, CDF, for Chairman North and other parliamentary constituencies? And B, when the CDF will be fully disbursed? In answering, the Minister said that the release of CDF funds to various constituencies is based on the consumption capacity of the constituencies. And in answering part B of the question, which was when the CDF will be fully dispersed, the minister said that the disbursement will be done in the fourth quarter of 2025.
Question number 25, understanding order 80, came from Mwinilunga Member of Parliament, Mr. Newton Samakai. He directed his question to the Minister of Education. He wanted to find out a question in four parts: when the government will resume the construction of Kawiki Secondary School in Mwinilunga District, and that the Minister of Education did say that the construction will resume once funds are made available. In regards to what percentage of completion the project was as of July 2025, and the cost of the outstanding works is, and the cause of the delay in completing the project is, the Minister did say that these questions fell off because the construction will only resume once funds are made available.
Thereafter, there was consideration of the motion of thanks. You see the motion of 16th September 2025 that the thanks of this assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the President's address. And this motion was moved by Ms. Joshi Kasanda, who is Member of Parliament for Chisamba, and seconded by Serenja Member of Parliament, Mr. Kanda Fola. Just to make mention that the motion was concluded today, and we did see a number of cabinet ministers, provincial ministers adding their voice to this motion.
And so this is business that has been considered on the floor of the House today, Thursday, 25th September 2025. From all of us, it's goodbye. To have a blessed evening.